Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning back in to the Southwest Florida Water Talks, Ep.5. Today, we're going to talk about the return of the spinning fish. And we're here with Sierra today. She's on camera right there, and she's producing the show. So we won't be asking her to do too much on camera today, but I want everybody to see behind the scenes here who is in charge of making this thing run and keeping the show going, and the original creator of the show. He's one of the originators of the group as well. So here we are today. What's happening? We have ourselves another bizarre situation where, wait 1 second. Okay, there we go. So we have ourselves another bizarre situation where the toxins have returned. What is going on with these spinning fish? I'd love to know what everybody thinks right away. There are a lot of theories, there are a lot of ideas. We're going to get down to the scientific explanation as of now, and I'm wondering if you all agree with it and what you think. What is going on with these spinning fish? It's a crazy story. So everybody remembers back in the day we had spinning fish, and they said this is crazy. We've never seen this. What was happening? What was happening? And that was in 2024, in the fall of 2024. So now it's back, and it's just back recently. And everybody has been seeing this mysterious spinning affliction impacting endangered sawfish returns. And it's not just the endangered sawfish. I think we're reading there's about 50 some species that have been affected by this and what is happening to them. So they just spin in these circles. Now, the scientists have been studying it now for a while, and they have a potential lead of what is happening. So these bizarre spinning fish deaths are going on. And, these are results of pollution management disasters that we have yet to see the results from. And we're starting to see the results just now. So this is going to be a huge problem. And I think it's a great question. I'm curious, have you guys ever seen the spinning fish in person? Have you seen anything like that? And even if it wasn't the same sawfish, any type of spinning fish. Curious, because as you know, they naturally would not do that. So what is going on? Well, the scientists have been studying it. Finally, they're starting to come up with a potential suspect, and that suspect. So they're really honing in on it. And again, this has been for a long time now, and people are been very, very concerned. But what they have brought it up to is, and we look at our harmful algae thing here. I'm going to butcher the name of this. We didn't have time to check out what it's called, but it looks like Gambardiscus. It sounds like ambidextrous, but yeah, Gambardiscus. Now this is a dinoflagellate, and what it is it's basically a super toxin that is 100 times stronger than your standard red tide toxins for the fish. And so this means that their brains can't even handle this amount of toxin, and that's why they start spinning. 100 times as harmful, toxic to fish than red tide. So nobody's really paid much attention to this because this is what they call benthic, which, as everybody knows, is the bottom of the ocean floor. So we're not really in a lot of interaction with this, with these things. So you've got this benthic dinoflagellate issue. Now, what we have discovered is you'll never guess what this particular neurotoxin that's 100 times more toxic than red tide, the brevetoxins. What feeds it? Well, what feeds it is phosphorus and nitrates. Pretty much the same thing as red tide. Now, this means that you've got this toxin that's 100 times stronger, and it's being fed into like a miracle grow because of our human activity. So I want to talk a little bit about the human activity that's causing it. Now, there is no definitive. They do definitively know that this is what's causing it. Now, what's causing it to be so insane right now? This is where we're going to start to do a little bit of guesswork. Now, also, I want everybody to remember that through biomagnification, if these fish are to get this disease, and let's just say they spin and die, and then a bigger fish comes around, like a cleaner fish, catfish, other type of fish, eats it. Suddenly it's going up the food chain. And through biomagnification, it is potential that this neurotoxin can be ending up into people's blood system as well through the food chain. So there's a lot of danger to knowing that fish have this. Now, a lot of what they've been finding has been down by the Keys. So it's under Florida, and that's what we want to talk about now. What exactly is going on? So number one, as we were checking it out earlier, and these are the leading ideas so far. Number one, herbicides. The lake being sprayed. Thank you to the work of Scott Wilson and Mike Nepper and Wilson McCourtney and Jim Abernathy and a few other. We now know that, I mean, just take a look at this. Herbicides are being sprayed all through the lakes. And it's being okayed by the FWC, which we're going to do in another episode. But the FWC is not actually run by any form of conservationists. So they're making the decision. Look, these guys that are running it can't even, they have hazmat suits on, exposure suits that they're wearing. They're wearing gloves, and just look at how it's destroying this area. Now, we all know that most herbicides are glyphosates. These glyphosates get into the water, and one of the biggest offenders here is Lake Okeechobee. Well, mixed with a bunch of other toxic soup that's in Lake O, now you've got these herbicides, you've got these glyphosates that are going in. And as we talked about in one of our earlier episodes, with Lake Okeechobee, where it's located, they now have these canals that go out into the Gulf and out into the ocean to discharge from Lake Okeechobee. So what you've got is the glyphosates now being brought and introduced into the Gulf, and the Gulf Stream, which is exactly how the current runs, starts in the Gulf of Mexico, works its way through the Gulf of Mexico down Florida. So the current comes from the top of Florida down and curves around the Keys and goes back up the coast, the East Coast. So it's taking all of the release from Lake Okeechobee and it's bringing it down, and it's depositing at the Keys or taking some of it with it up the Gulf Coast, up the Gulf Stream, up the east side coast. So that is one very strong potential for what's happening. So you've got these herbicides. What happens is also they create a lot of dead plants, which create tons of nitrates into the water. Now, those nitrates feed this crazy, dangerous toxin. So nitrates will make this thing go super crazy. Now, you can check it out here. It is found globally in tropical areas, but it's never shown to spin fish around before. And as a matter of fact, if you go to the U.S. National Office for Harmful Algal Blooms, you will find this information. It's really important. They even have signs of what the poisoning looks like. And look, I mean, these are bigger fish. I don't eat fish, so I don't really know. But you've got barracuda, you've got a lot of fish that people will be angling for out here in Florida. It's a big fishing area. You might be unknowingly eating neurotoxins in a concentrated form. So it's very, very dangerous. And again, we have to remember that, this is not us talking about, this is really something that is going on that is a major concern. Nutrient loads, these are affecting everything. They're affecting the red tide. And now, as another byproduct of it, they're affecting and creating more spinning fish. So, very, very unprecedented before. even the fishermen here have never heard of spinning fish. So okay, so we've got the Lako stuff coming out to the side. We know that the Gulf Stream takes it down under by where the Keys are, it takes it out up east coast of the US and heads towards Great Britain, basically. Now, at the bottom of Florida, you have the leftover, the toxins that don't make it up. Those are agitating the super harmful other algae. Again, 100 times the strength. I can't get over that. We've seen what red tide does. Now imagine red tide 100 times that strength. This is the future of it because Florida is not in any way controlling or bottlenecking their pollution. They're actually giving all the polluters open ways to go. And this is creating a major issue. Now, what else is happening? So you've got Lako, you've got that issue. Now you've also got your agriculture, and your agriculture is using fertilizer that contains nitrates as well as phosphorus. And phosphorus also feeds this particular algae. So that's a major, major problem as well. So you've got all these things feeding into it. Now, the other thing is you've also have, and one of the things we saw a lot of people mention, deep well injections. Deep well injections. Think about that. They're taking like these islands. We were reading that Marathon starting to use deep well injections. Key West has been dumping stuff not too far down, and now they want to do deep well injections. So there are a bunch of deep well injection areas under the Keys, which Sierra and I had we no idea about that. I've never heard anybody talk about that before. So they're dumping all of this in, and there is a leading theory that through cracks, that these toxins are working their way up, these phosphorus, nitrates, and other toxins, and they're working their way up, and they're helping cause this. And it appears what's happening is it's a toxic soup that's occurring down there, and it's so bad that fish are spinning, and they're spinning out of control. Another one that gives us an issue, of course, is sugar cane. Sugar is a big problem. Sugar again uses a lot of that fertilizer. You've got agriculture, you've got beef farming, you've got dairy farming, you've got chicken farming. All of this is leading to massive issues in water runoff and fertilizer runoff, which is bringing us phosphorus and nitrates, which are causing these blooms to go into overdrive. We just cannot reiterate it enough. There's all this talk about, well, maybe. I don't understand why the leadership in Florida has been afraid to take a move on this. Probably because they have a lot of money coming in from the industries into their campaigns and are afraid to reach over and do that. But when there's only spinning fish in Key West, Florida's going to lose a major sector of tourism. Who's going to go diving there? If those neurotoxins are making fish spin, who wants to be in that water? So very crazy. So spinning fish, never before seen. Now they're back, and they are unfortunately part of the landscape now, and a bit of a barometer, maybe a litmus paper of the toxicity around there. And the other issue that we have, of course, the golden issue that nobody ever wants to talk about, mosaic. So mosaic is pouring so many things into the water, but we do know from previous and from water testing that it's pouring a lot of phosphorus, and that phosphorus, excess phosphorus, is going in and through eutrophication, which is feeding basically these algae blooms. It's exasperating the issue and blowing it up. And then now we know that it's also activating this other algae, this benthic algae that is insanely toxic to fish and to anything else around it. So this is a very dangerous situation. This is very dangerous for people that go diving like Sierra and I do. It's dangerous for people that like to fish. It's dangerous for people that eat fish. We do not eat fish, and we warn everybody, please, if you are somebody that does like to eat fish, be very careful. Check for check for websites to see if there's any advisories out. Be knowledgeable about what's in the water that you're fishing in. Don't take the view from your boat to mean that it is clean. So again, we've got Lako, you've got Big Sugar, you've got Mosaic, you've got all of these elements coming together. You've got Big Ag, all of it is creating a toxic stew that is due to the Gulf Stream being brought right through the Keys. It just can't help it. The Keys are basically the filter of this toxicity, and it's getting stuck there, and it is creating a lot of problems. Scientists are on it. Now, solutions are different. We always find in conservation, you can find the problem, but finding an enforceable solution is another thing. And we have to take this as our beginning issue. Let's get this fixed. So we'd love to hear from everybody. What do you guys think? Do you think, which one? Do you think it's a mix of all of them? Do you think it's one in particular? Is it perhaps something that we didn't discuss today that you think is going on in the water that we need to address? Because this is our opportunity to talk about what's happening in the water and to talk about solutions, not just issues that are going on. So yes, what is your take on the spinning fish? Can it be solved with a single solution, or does it need to be more comprehensive? Is it a multi-prong approach, or can it be done with one? What do you think? We'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Please let us know, because again, it's very exciting to have these comments, to have these talks, to have these chats together, because it's an opportunity to look at issues that affect us and how we can all solve them together. So thanks for joining, everybody. Fascinating, crazy topic, frightening. We can solve it, though, because we know what it is. We have to be honest about, do we have what it takes to stand up to these companies and demand they act responsibly? Because if they continue to do this, things are only going to get worse, and we all know that. So does the state have what it takes to get this done? Let me know what you think. All right, everybody. We will see you next week for another Southwest Florida Water Talks. We're going to have more polls. We're going to try to bring on a few other people and talk about a few more topics. If you have a topic that you would like for us to discuss that we haven't talked about yet, please put it in the comments. All right, everybody, have a great day. Thank you for joining.